So people ask me, how do I use my blog? I use it as a thinking space. It most definitely reflects me and what's on my mind, um, what's important to me. Um, but I don't always publish everything that I put on my blog. I don't always make all of it public. And I think that's one of the things that I value in my blog is I can choose what's private to me and what I want to share. So that's a big part of it. I also use my blog very much as part of my scholarship of learning and teaching practice. Um, so it allows me to make connections between my theory and my practice. It also allows me a space to reflect on my own learning and teaching practice. And one of the useful things that I'm learning is that it's a space to curate resources as well and share them with a community, and also to receive resources that the community have shared with me. So that's part of some of the aspects that reflect how I use my blog. So you might be wondering why I use my mobile to do my blogging. I don't do any of my blogging on my computer. Um, well, I learned a term recently called app smashing, and it's when you create something by using a combination of different apps on your mobile device. And I think that's what I find really easy about mobile blogging is I can use my camera, I can use the internet, I can use social media, and memories that come up on social media might trigger a train of thought, and I go to the internet and I look at theory, and then I compose all of these thoughts in a draft of a blog that I might come back to and refine later. So I think in that respect, this idea of app smashing is really important to me in my blogging. As well as that, I think there's the very idea of portability. No matter where I am, when something comes into my mind, I just grab for my phone and I document what I'm thinking. So there's no need to remember anything. You can document your thoughts and your experiences as they happen. But the other thing about portability is, especially currently, the house isn't always a quiet space to work. So when you're out and about on a walk or when you're sitting on a quiet beach, you can think more clearly, and I think that helps me to compose my thoughts. So that idea of portability is really valuable to me. Um, but it's also very personal in the same way that you put very personal things on your phone. I think that's reflected in the way that I use my blog. Is it kind of encourages me to be more inclusive because it opens a window in my life that I don't usually let people see. And I think when other people do that, it generates a kind of culturally responsive view of education, which embraces the whole idea of openness and inclusion. So, in terms of the technology itself, people might wonder if they need specific apps or a specific device. Well, I can't really comment on that because I can only comment on the devices that I've used. But what I would say is I would find a device that is appropriate to your level of digital skill, and your level of digital literacy. If you need support in that, don't be frightened to ask for support. There are professionals that you can speak to in education establishments. There are professional communities online that you can access. Don't be frightened to access those resources and do your research in terms of the device. But in terms of specific apps, again, there are lots out there. I could give you a few that I've used, but my advice would be to do your research and find one that gives you the level of control that you're comfortable with. Um, you want to have one that allows you to choose whether to share or not. That's important as a person, and as an academic, and you have to be comfortable with the level of control that your chosen app gives you. So yeah, that would be my main pieces of advice on the tech itself. Yeah, and just a few people have asked me about sharing things. How widely do you need to share? Um, well, the truth is, you can share as widely as you want to. You can share completely publicly on the internet or via social media, or you can share your blog posts in a text message to a friend. It can be as wide or as narrow as you want it to be. And that's a really important question to ask yourself when you're a blogger is um, how comfortable are you with sharing? And also think about your audience. That's really important. Think about who you're sharing with, whether it is a closed, trusted community, whether it is a close, trusted colleague or friend. But because the reality is, as soon as you commit pen to paper, or in this case, character to document, and you share that with even one person, there's the potential for that to go public if they then share that on with others. So always stop and ask whether or not you want to share, and consider who with. That's a really important part of being a blogger.